Good afternoon. Give a few moments to join us for our noon Bible study as we try to do what we believe God wants us to do for the day. Before I get started today, I do want to address an issue that's been really having me lament and grieving. In the city of Jackson, we've had, I believe, nearly 20 homicides. I don't know the specific number. I want to say the specific number is about 16, 17, or 18 homicides. Most of those homicides involved gun violence. And on this past weekend, our church was impacted as we lost a young man, only 28 years of age, to a senseless act of gun violence. And now I won't say he was an angel by any means, nor was the assailant. And unfortunately, both of those young men, two young men, lost their lives. And probably others who were affiliated with them will lose their freedom because of the act that was carried down. And I just need our community here in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, and across wherever you may be watching. I need you all to be more vigilant regarding this issue of gun violence. I just wrote an article that was published in our local newspaper about how my family and I have been impacted by gun violence and how the trauma lives on, although it may not seem as bad. The trauma still lingers from those events. And these families that have lost loved ones just in these last 6 weeks of 2021 to gun violence, that trauma will be lingering them. And I'm not even talking about the ones who have been injured. We've had cases of children being injured wounded by gun violence as young as 2 and 4 years old. And that should not be. It should not be. So I wanted to preface my Bible study today by sending a message to all of us to be more vigilant. Those of us who are gun owners, we must be responsible gun owners. We should not have our weapons accessible to children or anyone that may be deemed impertinent to be able to use the weapon. If you know someone who is a felon and they have a weapon, report them. Don't be afraid to report them. They should not have a weapon. Unfortunately, a lot of these persons who are felons, including the young man who I lament, who lost his life, had a weapon, should not have had one. So while we can grieve, we can continue to grieve, we can continue to march, we can continue to do all of this, but the power really lies is within us to end this epidemic. We're so concerned about the pandemic that there's a 98% recovery rate, but we're not as concerned about the gun violence epidemic, where there is no coming back from that. And if anyone who has committed a crime who has not yet turned themselves in or is still hiding, if you know they're there, turn them in. Don't be afraid of crime. So we got to stop this snitching, no snitching rule. We got to stop hiding criminals we know have committed crimes. We have to stop doing it. It is a plague upon our community, and it is causing a greater sense of disarray, discombobulation, and all of anything else you can think about. So I pray for all the victims of gun violence this year and last year and the many years before. But I just feel that we must act. And if you have been impacted by gun violence, I want to invite you, if you are like myself, you can identify as a survivor of gun violence, I want to invite you to join a part of become a part of the Everytown Survivor Network simply by texting 64433. Text the word join. If you identify as a survivor, text the word survive and just get engaged. And that's survive to 64433. Just text that number and that word, and you could be you can help change, help. I don't think we'll ever end it, but we can at least prevent it, gun violence. Because I'm tired of the headlines leading with particularly young black men losing their lives to gun violence. And I'm not just talking about to death, but every time a young black man dies physically because of gun violence, that does not just hurt that family, it impacts other young men who are around them. That gives them this sense of dread. It gives them this sense of, why should I do anything? Anxiety, anxiousness, all that stuff. And we have to combat that in our community. So anyway, I said all that because, as a pastor, I feel like I didn't do enough. I know I did, but still did not do enough that could have saved that young man's life, or the other young men, or the young women who have committed these crimes, and these people who are in relationships where domestic violence is taking place, and that usually does involve a weapon also. They may not ever say it, but it does. So anyway, let's do all we can to be vigilant on this plague in our country. All right.